I am not merely present in my body as a sailor is present in a ship. René Descartes.
Yeah, welcome to CEDTalks, where we separate fact from fiction. Mess it up a minute every time. This that set talk, yeah, we said it straight. Cut through the noise, elevate the debate. No pseudo talk, no foggy claims. Just evidence-based when we build these frames. Set talks, yeah, clarity first. If it ain't got method, it probably won't work. From ancient knowledge to modern science, we draw that line, that clear defined. They say the ancients had science. Hold up. Pause. Knowledge ain't the same as methodological laws. Observation, yeah, but control tests rare. No predictive models, you gotta be fair. We respect the past, but we keep it exact. Precision matters when you deal with facts. Astronomy grew, astrology split. One stayed empirical, one lean myth. The shift came through naturalistic method. Just standing revised, that's how we embed it. Not culture bound, not tied to a place. It's a universal tool for the human race. This guy said talks, yeah, he said it straight. Cut through the noise, elevate the debate. No pseudo talk, no foggy claims. Just evidence based when we build these frames. Said talks, yeah, clarity first. If it ain't got method, it probably won't work. From ancient knowledge to modern science, we draw that line, that clear defiance. They blur definitions, start moving the goalposts. Turn fried to a claim that don't hold close. Science ain't known, this a process refined. Independent of culture, space and time. You can't redefine it to fit identity. That's how you lose all epistemic integrity. We test every claim, we don't just believe. If it can't be verified, we don't receive. From early observers to labs today, it's rigor and doubt that paved the way. Not name dropping scholars to win a debate, but data and method that validate. So what's your ideology? That's cool to ask, but truth ain't decided by the loudest class. We question it all, no sacred ground. If it don't hold up, we break it down. This that set pulp, yeah, we live in direct. No fear in the facts, just intellectual respect. No more, no mirror, no fantasy, just truth, logic, and consistency.
Good afternoon and welcome back to another CEDTalks, a Pseudo Killers presentation. Y'all must have missed us. Another Pseudo Killers production. I know y'all missed me yesterday, and shout out to the God Killer. The channels were popping, and that's a testament to the level and the quality of the products that we have around here. He was doing a rebroadcast of my addressing the claims of the bomb squad. Shout out to God Energy, Ashe, and the young lady. I'm sorry, I forget your name. Issa Queen of the bomb squad. So that episode ran late. Of course, we just go with the flow. So we just move things up. So that's why we're here today with another episode of CEDTalks, and we are hitting the flow. We're continuing our mission here is to bring scientific literacy and for as the natural progression of the work we're doing, we have engaged in the philosophy of mind. Before we get down to the nitty gritty, don't forget, share the show, like the show, tell a friend to tell a friend, become a subscribe to the channel and become a member of the Pseudo Killer Army, right? Help us spread proper information and scientific literacy. It is now ever more needed in the world than before. The attack on science is real, and we are all playing our part in increasing the scientific literacy of not only our direct environment, but the larger community as a whole. So don't forget, subscribe to the channel, become a member of the Pseudo Killer Army. So Gools is going to drop the Discord, the link to the Discord. Join the Discord, and that's where all the real work happens. That's where we hash out ideas. That's where most of the sources and the material get analyzed before we bring it to you on this big stage. So join the Discord. It is where we get most of the work done. Let me go over to shouting out everybody in the chat. If you're in the building, I see there are 14 people in the building. Man, let me know you're here. I'll say hello to you in the chat. Alex Torres, yeah, big up Pseudo Killers. Big up to you, Alex Torres, in the building. Black Sun 403, always in the building. Peace, family. Sir Gould, member of the Pseudo Killer Army, again, always appreciate all the hard work you do around here, my brother. You bring all the sources, you keep the programs running. Let me say good afternoon to Karen. Karen, how you doing? I know you've been patiently waiting, so that's why we're here today to run the show. Who else we got in the building? We got Black Rob, Mac Rob himself, Thanos. Stay tuned for another Med Talks coming up most likely this Sunday. Everybody's been busy and stuff like that, but we got the work here for you today. Shout out to you, my Mill Mobley, seller to said logic on steroids. I appreciate you, my brother. Peace. Thank you for being here. Don't forget, join the Pseudo Killer Army. A thumb up the show, share the show, let everyone know the work we're doing over here. And of course, as I always do, before we get down to it, I always got to hit you with a Pseudo Killer's banger. It is part and parcel of the recipe around here. Before we get into the heavy work, we like to just give you something to relax with a bit before we get into the heavy work. So here we go. This is the PK anthem.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm a pseudo killer nigga, and I'm coming for your head. So scammers accountable for the pseudo shit that they spread. Ain't no more running, nigga. I'm pseudos to bed. I'm the boogeyman for these prayers, leaving these streets red. I'm a pseudo killer. No frauds, no fake, no fillers. We straight pseudo killers. Don't flim, slammer, hustlers and scammers. We pseudo killers. I'm tired of the stalking niggas, steady running their mouth. Beating just on platforms, always loud and wildin' out. They ain't saying nothing, only begging for some clout. When I step in the rain, nigga, mama say knock you out. I'm a pseudo killer. No fraud, no fake, no fillers. We straight pseudo killers. No flip, flammer, hustlers and scammers. We pseudo killers. If think you won't smoke, nigga, come and take your shot. It been a long time coming, nigga. Now show us what you got. I ain't tryna be friendly, nigga. Wipe ass off your face. This is war, nigga. Only one way to sin. Say goodbye to net. I'm a pseudo killer. No cross, no fake, no fillers. We straight pseudo killer. No flip, flammer, hustlers and scammers. We pseudo killer. Science is undefeated, nigga, so we never lose. We always well equipped, nigga, armed with all the tools. Always ready for a pseudo, they always tryna pin the rules. BK stumping, go these clowns, got them looking like some fools. Fuck around and find out, nigga, you should've stayed in school. I'm a pseudo killer. No fraud, no fake, no fillers. Be straight pseudo killers, no flip, flammer, hustlers and scammers. Be pseudo killer. Pseudo killer.
All right. Y'all can hear me okay? Put a 1 in the chat. I'm thinking my mic's open, so I'm gonna hit the let's go. You can't find the Discord link. Only Discord admin can do that. All right. I'll have that taken care of. Please go. All right, let's go. Descartes and the Ghost in the Machine. Philosophy of Mind, episode 2. What exactly is the mind? Now, most of us over here have had these discussions a little bit more in depth, but we are in a community where that question is still a valid one. Is consciousness a soul, a non-physical substance, brain activity, information processing, or something else entirely? What is the mind? What is consciousness? A soul, some of you would say yes. A non-physical substance. Now, most of you should understand what we mean when we say physical. So if it's non-physical, what is it? Is it merely brain activity? Is it information processing, or is it something else entirely? Let's find out. The central problem: how does mind relate to matter? Again, separate physical from material. Matter is material, you can grab it, and physical is part of the natural world, but not necessarily material. So, how does the mind relate to matter? So, in the previous episode, we discussed the ancient soul concept. Remember, did the whole Ruah and the Fesh thing, the spirit and the breath traditions. Then we moved up to the Plato and the Aristotelian concept of this immaterial essence that is the soul. We went through the mind body problem. We talked about that. We briefly and we hit on early neuroscience challenges and what is the difference between physicalism and dualism. So, who is René Descartes? Today we're going to be discussing and digging into what is substance dualism and how these terms interact. Again, we start by the scientific revolution. Europe in the 17th century. Key figures like Galileo, Johannes Kepler, and Isaac Newton. Remember these bridge figures? Nature increasingly appeared what? Mechanical. Galileo's observations of these movements of these heavenly bodies. Mathematical. Remember, Newton, building on the work of Descartes himself, right, realized and implemented, realized that nature, reality could be mapped and expressed mathematically. And based on that, it was predictable. And of course, they realized that nature is governed by physical laws. This was starting to emerge during the scientific revolution. But now, the problem: where does consciousness fit? Where does the mind fit? Remember, these people were authoritarian. Their whole thing was scholasticism. The old folks, they knew it. And how did they knew it? Because they thought about it. Their brains, their minds was the thing. So now this scientific revolution, you have these French materialists making the mind just matter and all of this confusion. So now where does the mind fit in this whole equation? This is the question. Now comes René Descartes. Who is he? He was born in 1596 and he died in 1650. Everybody knows Rene Descartes' famous saying. We went through this in different lectures already because we show how these concepts all overlap and intertwine. To be scientifically literate, you must be philosophically grounded. And we are. Most of us don't know the actual narratives, but we are indeed scientific and philosophically grounded. French philosopher, mathematician, and scientist. Oops, I left that word scientist there on purpose. Comes out the same philosophy of mind, same Stanford Encyclopedia of Philosophy. But in this branch of philosophy, the term scientist is loosely applied. Were we to take this into the philosophy of science, we would deduce that he is not a scientist. Why? Because he is of a particular epistemic framework. He's a bridge figure. He was not a full methodological naturalist. He was still in a transition. He was the pioneers of thereof, but still a natural philosopher. So you see the word scientist here. When applied to a different discipline within philosophy itself, this word is colloquially applied. You must be grounded. You must be grounded to do this work properly. Otherwise, you are going to get confused. Take your time, build accordingly. That's why this series is pedagogic in its intent. That's why everything I do is pedagogic in its intent. You must watch each series sequentially. It is a learning curve. I ain't here to play with y'all. Major contributions. Cartesian philosophy. We are going to explore this Cartesian philosophy in just a minute, folks. Analytical geometry, the foundation for what later was used by Newton. Remember, Descartes was the one that said conceptualization of a triangle means that if I can, its dimensions in a non physical, non material domain, the mind, is equal to that of it in its actuality. So the fact that I can produce an abstract actuality with my mind means that the conceptualizations of my mind are warranted and therefore true. And wink, wink. What was he trying to smuggle back in there? Roy Chess, you ain't ready for us, bro. Rationalism. And of course, mind body dualism, Cartesian dualism. Let's go. The goal, find absolute certainty. Yes, Roy Chess, we understand these things. We understand the goal of deductive reason. We get it. However, we also get it. Its limitations and the lines. Let's continue. Radical doubt. Descartes' method was doubt everything. The senses can deceive. We understand that. So if the senses can deceive, you must doubt them. Dreams imitate reality. Therefore, your grounding in reality itself is subject to being questioned because my dreams imitate reality. How do I distinguish from the two when the two are indistinguishable in my mind? Traditions may be false. Again, he is at the center of this epistemic rupture. The world around him is falling apart. The traditions he held so dearly, the three continents, proved to be fallacious, wrong, and invalid. His epistemic foundation fell from under him. The traditions they employed may be false. What remains certain? Cogito ergo sum. I think, therefore I am. The only thing you have certainty of by Cartesian philosophy is that I am a sentient being. There is no other surety that you can be provided by any system that is of a Cartesian nature. You would have to employ other systems to make your premises valid, to make your paradigms applicable. You cannot do it merely by thinking and reasoning. So Cartesian dualism, the two substances, reality of physical reality and mental reality, he distinguishes the two. So you have matter and mind. You have res extensa, that's the outside, and res cogitans, that's the inside, that's the mind, cognition. So you have matter versus mind, extended in space, and in your mind it's non-spatial. One is mechanical and the other is conscious. One is physical and one is immaterial. So he physically split a human being into two concepts. These two things wrestled side by side. Substance dualism. Mind and matter are fundamentally different. Are they though? Is the question. Hmm? But this was Cartesian dualism. He came to the conclusion that what the mind produces is fundamentally different than what matter is in reality. Let's continue. So now why was dualism so persuasive? Come on. That isn't hard to understand. Consciousness feels non physical. Consciousness feels non physical. I'm going to say it again. Your awareness feels non physical, non material, non physical. It's nowhere and it's everywhere. Religion reinforces the soul concept. I'm hoping that those here who are deconstructing or those who have these fixed concepts realize that these things were produced. There's no actuality to them, there's no reality to them. These are concepts created and enforced by traditions. Let's continue. Neuroscience did not exist yet. Thoughts seem private and internal. Your mind has this thing of fooling you. I keep saying that, and I think this is a grounding pillar. When you engage with a third party, you see them as a holistic being. You do not see them as separate mind body. But when you think of yourself, you there's this separation where the you has a body, where the you has a mind, where the you is in possession of the physical aspect. And even the mind is a possession thereof. So the consciousness feels completely disconnected from the entity itself and yet governs the entity. This is what body budgeting produces, a self awareness which allows you to manage the system. Let's continue. Subjective experiences appeared fundamentally different from matter. The thoughts in your head, the apple that you perceive in your head, is fundamentally different from the apple that is on the table. The smell, the taste, everything attributed to that apple is purely within the space between your ears. And it is fundamentally different to the actuality of the apple, or at least they appear so. Now comes the problem. The central problem for dualism, the interaction problem. If mind and matter are separate, then how do they interact? Come, somebody explain me. All you dualists out there, I'm waiting because we still haven't got an answer to that. How does thoughts move the body? How does physical injuries affect consciousness? And why? How can something non physical affect matter? We're running into problems with these concepts. Let's continue. This is what we call the interaction problem. If the mind, this thing that I perceive outside of the body, this thing that allows me to assume that I own a body, that I have a brain, that I have hands, that I have feet, that I have a stomach, that I am hungry. How, if it's a separate thing, how does it interact with the brain? That's the big problem. That's the interaction problem. The pineal gland. Descartes believed that this structure connected mind to body. So y'all see where y'all pseudos get this nonsense from. It goes all the way back to Descartes. You boom, boom, flip it over and remix it into New Age philosophies. But essentially, these concepts come from Descartes. This also tells you that at this point in time, human dissection of the body and the brain was well developed. Pseudo, y'all pineal gland story. Y'all see why I do this? Take my time, hear all these pseudoisms, know where they come from. But my time was coming when I was going to be able to dismantle these things once and for all. So when y'all mixing and talking about the decalcification of the pineal gland made it up. Made it up. He is prior to neuroscience. Why did he choose that? Mwah. Seemed cute. Seemed interesting, maybe. I don't know. All the regions of the brain. He decided that the pineal gland mwah, was the structure that connected mind and body. That was the antenna thingy. The antenna thingy. But y'all see how ridiculous it is. It explained where interaction occurs, right? Even if it went so far, it could explain where this interaction occurred. How does the interaction happen? What is these processes? So you see, by him not being able to explain how, I can deduce that the where was just a random shot in the dark because the how would indicate why the where is relevant. I hope I explained that. I explained that properly. I'm gonna slow that down again. I can deduce that he made it up because he cannot explain the how. And if he explains the how, then it would indicate why this where is relevant. It would explain the action and the processes by the pineal gland, which would allow to verify that that is actually where it is occurring. This interaction. However, we left with the how. The mechanistic body. Descartes viewed the body mechanistically. So the body for him, it circulated blood, it responded to stimuli, it functions physically, and it follows mechanical principles. So, based on this concept, when you separate mind from body, he's assuming that this circulation of blood happens without the activity of the mind, the brain. Response to stimuli. He's assuming that my interaction with the environment can happen void of mind. He assuming that the body can function physically void of mind, that it follows mechanical principles void of the mind. Now, is that accurate though? Is it? Your response to stimuli, can that happen without your mental awareness? If your mind doesn't become aware of how the stove is burning, what is the incentive to move your hand? How does this stimuli actually work without your awareness? This brings us to the fallacious zombie hypothesis. You cannot have a zombie. Zombies in the movies are fake. Let me show you why. They operate with intent. They have a target. They maneuver around obstacles. So that means that what we are seeing are diseased human beings, but who cannot rationalize and interact with space, quote unquote normal. But there is a mind activity there. So the whole idea of Hollywood zombies being mindless, that's fundamentally wrong. They target people. They have methods of approach. They know entry points. They experience physical danger. They might not respond to pain in the same way, but they are aware. There is no mindless there. These mechanical principles are guided by a brain. Your your fight or flight response, which triggers physical functions, is directly correlated to a mind. The mind being triggered stimulates physical responses. So a deeper understanding of the mind body relationship proves or validates the error here. Ironically, that mechanistic model that preserved the soul would later help undermine it, like I just did. Sometimes I'm ahead of the slide, I know, but I need them to stay on track. That mechanistic model creates a relationship with the brain and the mind that are inseparable and ultimately undermines the concept of dualism itself. Neuroscientific challenge. Neuroscience challenges dualism, of course. The brain changes the mind. We understand that. Brain damage can alter memory, it can alter personality, it can alter emotion, how you respond emotionally. Language. We've had cases where after severe brain damage, people don't remember their own language but develop the ability to speak another language completely fluent. You wake up from a stroke and now you know two languages instead of one. Or when people get strokes, for example, they can sing but they can't speak. They can understand everything, but there are certain letters and words that fall out of the vocabulary that they just simply can't pronounce. I've experienced all these things because I had a stroke myself and was around a lot of people that had strokes and experienced these uh, different phenomena. Also, a relationship with a language and speech therapist who allows you to understand these things, how the brain actually works. Fascinating. And identity. Now, the fact that I can assume what I think to be accurate accents, just me playing around. But people have had brain damage that their whole identity, who they are, completely switched. They, their name, their personality, everything about it. And one of the earliest cases we know, major problem with dualism. So this is a major problem for dualism. Why would physical damage alter an immaterial mind? If the mind isn't something produced by the brain, right? Brain is matter, mind is physical. Remember that. So immaterial mind would be a non-physical brain. How? How can mind, if it is not produced by the brain, be different or altered when the physical material brain gets damaged? That's why we say mind is an emergent property of the brain. Phyllis Gage, Phyllis Gage, 1848. Remember this gentleman? He was the first or one of the most famous documented cases of the brain being damaged and the personality being altered. The story went over it in the previous episode. Go back to episode 1 where I elaborate on Phileas Gage. However, he was had a bad accident. Steel rod went through his skull and fused and fused in his brain. Luckily, he survived. but his whole personality was altered. Everything about who he was changed. One of the earliest documented cases establishing that mind body relationship. Haha, Gilbert Ryle, the ghost in the machine. His critique of Cartesian dualism. He identified the category error. So Ryle argument, dualism commits a category error. We know what a category error is, right? So the mind is not a ghost inside a machine controlling the body. So it is not a ghost inside a machine controlling the body. The perception from Descartes is this body, the brain, and everything. And then the ghost comes in and he goes into the driver's seat and he goes, like the old cartoons, Power Rangers. They used to get into the machine and became the operating center, the ghost in the machine. So this is Descartes' perception of what we are. Cartesian dualism says the body is the thing over there, and then this ghost comes in and go Power Rangers, and then jumps in the cockpit. And you see when the robot get hit, somehow the guy sitting in a protected robot, 50 times bigger than him, the robot gets a shot and they go ah. I guess that's the connection made then. But that's just segue. So no, it's none of that. It's not that. Asking where is the university? This is a famous one. You ask where's the university after seeing the classrooms, the students, the building, and the professors. I show you the professor. Then you're asking me where's the university? The university is an emergent property. When you put students, when you got building, professors, classroom, when you got that together, when you put those things together, that is what the university is. Mind you, I showed you the buildings. I showed you the students. I showed you the professors and the classrooms. All these elements together, the emergent property is called university. So asking me where is the university after showing you the components is a category error. The mistake, treating the system itself as a separate hidden object. So the emergent property, which is mind out of matter, Descartes treats as something alien coming in from the outside. You get it? Again, Descartes sees the mind as this separate thing, this ghost. Ooh, incorporeal, immaterial ghost, literally a ghost. And the ghost jumps in the driver's seat and then manipulates the brain, and that's how the body is controlled. Whereas he is the mind is an emergent property of the brain functioning. The university is an emergent property of all these components put together. Mind is an emergent property of brain. The university isn't separate from those components. Those components are what produce the thing called university. If I show you this, then you automatically understand that this is the university. You're watching the brain, you're seeing the byproduct, and you're assuming the byproduct is alien. Huh? Ryle argues dualism makes the same mistake about the mind. So let's do some common misconception. So that's what I just explained. So that when you ask that question, these are the components, university, and then you ask, where's the university, bro? You you I, you, you're in the building. That's a professor. You're in a classroom. Those are students. What? The university is an emergent property of these things put together. The mind is an emergent property of the brain. You're going to watch all these processes taking place, the stimuli, all of this mind body interaction, and then say that, well, no, the mind is over there somewhere. While you're watching the components, you're watching the byproduct of the brain, which is the mind, which produces the stimuli, which produces all these physical components. What you talk about, you deny them being part of the mind. Let's continue. Misconception about dualism. Dualism proves the soul exists. No, it is a philosophical position. And in this community, we argue often from a position as if dualism is a factuality. And we can get into why that is. Our society is structured based in the concept of dualism. And we have accepted that as a matter of fact when it is only but a philosophical position and not grounded in anything empirical. And over here, we deal with empiricism, the wing of philosophy that verifies positions and claims. And we have information and evidence to the contrary. Let's continue. Science disproves consciousness. No, consciousness absolutely exists. We're not going down that road. We're not even entertaining that. Science is absolutely aware of consciousness. And as a matter of fact, science is studying it by means of neuroscience predominantly. Continue. Mystery proves the supernatural. This is when y'all do the God of the gaps thing. No, unexplained does not equal supernatural. Y'all quick to make these conversations supernatural. Ron, because it is the area in which science does not have sufficient answers. Our concept of how the brain works has continued to evolve over time. First, we had this compartmentalization that this was done in this region, this was done in that region, that was produced by that region, this region was responsible for that, and now we're seeing no different aspects of the brain holistically. Remember, we were talking 10% of your brain. No, that's false. The right from the left hemisphere. All these outdated concepts are false. Neuroscience is proven, it's demonstrating that depending on the activities, different regions of the brain are engaged in different intensities. Memory is not stored in one particular place. There is no memory storage. You reconstruct so-called memories as you tend to try and extract them. So we're learning a lot, a lot, and a lot, and a lot, 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 a lot about the brain and consciousness. So no, mystery does not prove the supernatural. And once we are engaging in science, we know once science provides us an explanation, it would be grounded in reality. Therefore, science would not be in a position to be explaining, talking about, or addressing the supernatural. Let's continue. Modern philosophy of mind. You see, Descartes, his position, outdated, rationality, deductive reasoning alone, purely outdated. Modern approaches, physicalism. What is physicalism? Photons. Like, that's the best way to explain it. Can't hold it, can't grab it, but a photon will burn a hole in your hand. Yes, it will. Yes, it will. But you can't hold it. So materialism is matter, tangible. The universe is physical. So we approach things from physicalism. We are not determined. Everything in the universe is physical, not necessarily material, but physical. The mind is physical because it is produced by the material. Functionalism. We are going to get into these aspects of philosophy of mind as we delve into this subject more and more and more. Emergentism, like I always say, emergent property of the university is an emergent property of classroom, buildings, students, faculty, etc. Library, books, labs, boom, these things put together, emergent is a university. Computational theory. This one is very interesting. I've been diving into computational theory, and you have to understand how the mind works, how the brain works. And like I was explaining, that we're moving away from particular regions responsible for particular activities, or that there's a storage area for memory. Computational theories examine how these particular regions are engaged and activated, and how mind and how they produce they pull from different regions of the brain to produce the outcome that was desired. Cognitive science. Din, 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 din. This is all in the neuroscience. We do in neuroscience. Cognitive science and neuroscience, the mapping of the brain and using that system of having mapped the brain to engage in cognitive science. Which areas light up, how they light up, what is the intensity, and computational theories which map all of these things together. So the three last domains are all working together to give us an understanding of how the brain produces mind and how the interaction between mind and brain is correlated. The mind became scientifically investigable. See here? Mapping of the different areas. This is both neuroscience and cognitive science on display. Right? Particular regions are expressed more when particular cognitive activities are engaged, and they're looking at the overall areas and the intensity on how they map, how they light up, or how they produce or stimulate based on the task required. This is a perfect example of these two disciplines here on display. Alrighty then. Descartes transformed philosophy. Dualism shaped Western thought. The interaction problem remains unresolved. Neuroscience increasingly challenged the soul theories. Simply does. Even our dualism and our justice system here in the West, we are not taking into consideration the fact that there is a limited, very limited concept of free will. Free will is that agent there, that ghost that is controlling the machine, separate from the environmental influences. And now that we understand that there's no ghost, so we really have to question our idea of free will, how we quantify it, and there's a whole that's a series within itself, and of course we are going to get there. But neuroscience increasingly challenges the soul theories. Consciousness remains an open philosophical problem. Mystery is not evidence of or for immaterial explanations, though. So, because it is open and we do not have a complete theory, it remains philosophically a problem. We will get into David Chalmers in subsequent episodes of the hard problem of consciousness, qualia, etc. But we're laying the foundations and the groundwork for the development of this series, which I think is a fun one, especially after the philosophy of science, the philosophy of mind. Why? The assumption is made that us kinfolk, us Negroids, us black people, whatever that's supposed to mean, do not engage in philosophy. That is a misconception that we have been displaying is a false one, and that we are truly engaging with a philosophy of mind. These are the things and these are the aspects that ground us in scientific literacy. As I said before, my job is not to make you a scientist. My job is to help guide and promote scientific literacy. Scientific literacy remains a way of thinking, a way of processing information. And that's why we delve into how we do exactly that, how we apply the mind to science, and how the mind itself operates. These are philosophical premises that we should be grounded in when we're having these conversations. And that's why we do what we do. And with that, we've come to the end of the presentation. I thank you all for your attention. This is one of my favorite topics. Dun, 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 dun. There you go. Oh yeah, of course. I'm gonna drop the link in the chat, and of course, the pseudo killers always welcome. Juju is I'm doing this to get them to put back the brain show. Because y'all know one of the most favorite shows that I love is The Brain Show. The Brain Show was absolutely necessary to grounding us in a lot of these philosophical concepts. And it also created and stimulated the idea for doing a series like this. Um, Knowing and understanding this stuff doesn't mean that we can assume that everybody is as versed and that everyone understands these topics to the same extent. Um, but yeah, I dropped the link. So anyone want to hit the link, get up here. If you got any questions, we can talk about it. I know in this community, dualism is something that lives, and this is challenging that premise and that foundation again. It is a necessary evil for us to have these conversations and grow and ground ourselves in reality. Scientific literacy, again, is the vaccine for the mind, helps you against the scammers, charlatans, flim flammers trying to sell you snake oil and outdated belief concepts that have no bearing, no grounding in reality. Now, I dropped the link. I'm gonna play a little bit of music. If no one jumps up here, I'll be back later on tonight with Guala. We're gonna do some monkey business for y'all. The Gorilla Wars.
Yeah, yeah,
Y'all practice here.
yeah.
Hi, Praxis. What's good? What's good?
You, man, you and this topic is, oh, man, that was awesome, man. I always wanted to have a discussion about the consciousness, man.
Yes,
That's a,
sir.
when you said did you, am I hearing you correctly in saying that the consciousness is physical?
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's what's up. That's what's up. I always thought about that. You know, when you young, well, I don't know. When I was young, I always just sit back and just look at things. And
Scanning.
my parents didn't really look at. My parents didn't really have us looking at TV too much, so it left us to look around and observe and contemplate on what we saw. So I went to my family's military, and we went to an air show. It wasn't the Blue Angels, it was something else. And the plane was going so fast, it created some sort of cloud around it. You know what I'm speaking of?
Conscious cloud.
No, go
Said, do
ahead.
you
Go
know what I'm
ahead.
speaking of?
No, no, go ahead.
Okay, so my thought is we are in a different I don't want to sound religious, but the word come to mind, firmament. Like
Yeah, what is a firmament?
you got the water, right? You got the sea, fresh water, salt water, and then you got the air, right? So I'm thinking that we are in a different firmament, but it's all fluid.
So I can appreciate philosophizing. However, if you say fluid, then that needs to remain consistent. We are using terms, right? So
Yes.
if you say fluid, that is a particular medium that has particular properties, right?
Okay.
One of the attributes of fluid is the production of this sensation of wetness due to the temperature difference that we experience. So within a different medium, one which is primarily air, that equation doesn't hold true. Why? Because within that same atmosphere or environment of air, you have that liquid substance which produces that sensation of wetness. So the
Okay.
comparison becomes a bit difficult to follow.
Can the air emit moisture under certain conditions?
Yeah,
You know,
no,
outside of rain and clouds and all that, but I'm just talking about, you know, on a non-cloudy day, there's moisture in the air. Is that possible?
define moisture.
Well, you know, I don't know. It's
So
not dry like at a desert.
So moisture is in every atmosphere because it is composed of water in its gas form, right? So
Yeah.
that is why we call the moisture in the air is actually the vaporized H2O. That's what you're saying. So
Okay.
when you get the condensation of H2O, then you have this so-called thing as moisture. But so when we look at the moisture content in air, it is the amount of H2O molecules that you would have dispersed in the atmosphere.
Okay. Now you said air, but can't air, being that it's moisture in the air, can't air be considered as fluid?
You know, air is what it is. And even when moisture is in the air, it is in its gas form, thus making it water vapor. So it is
Yeah.
within the same construct as the rest of the common denominator, which makes it not a fluid state.
Okay. Now, if we take a fan and we turn the fan on and the propellers move and it's manipulating the air and pushing the air in a certain direction, that is that is a mass, right? Like when you push the air, like you blow in your hand and you feel that, that would be
What, yo?
considered a mass, right?
A force.
A force, right?
Yeah.
So it wouldn't
Yeah,
that be
you
the
funny
same?
though.
Wouldn't that be the same with water?
Explain how.
Like a hose.
Explain how. Like
When
a
you
hose.
push the water, when you push the water through the hose, right? Or a
Mm-hmm.
pipe,
Mm-hmm.
and then you put your finger on the
Mm-hmm.
end and you just let it, you know, open the aperture up a little bit at a time. And the smaller the aperture, the more forceful the water come out. You could
Mm-hmm.
do that same thing with air.
Mm-hmm.
So I
And
would
what is the
think
common
that that or
denominator?
both would be
What is the
fluid.
common denominator?
The impetus, the force,
No,
impetus.
no.
Yeah.
The common denominator.
The common denominator is
Yeah. Both scenarios.
the pipe,
The force, right?
the force, right? The impetus,
Okay,
yeah.
good. So now how does force change either one of those mediums to become the same thing? The force remains the force, air remains air, and water remains water, or liquid remains liquid. The action of the force on these two substances does not make them equal in any form or fashion. It is just what force does.
Okay. What is the chemical compound of air? I don't
Atomic
know
number
it.
8, man. Atomic number 8, man. Atomic number 8.
What's it,
Protons,
brother?
neutrons, electrons is 8.
Yeah.
Okay. How about water?
H2O.
What about it?
Okay. Because I'm looking at the difference between the two, and there's
What's the
nothing.
difference between the two? Which two? What's the similarity?
Air, the chemical makeup of air, and the
What
chemical
is the
makeup of
chemical
water.
makeup of water? What's the chemical makeup of air?
What, the H2O? What is that? The
Stop,
compound?
stop. What is the chemical makeup of air? Since you mentioned
I
it,
don't
what
know.
is
I
it?
ask.
No, you didn't
Hydrogen and
ask.
oxygen, man.
You draw an analogy on a question that you asked, and you drew a
Don't
conclusion.
know.
No, no,
Yeah.
no, no, no,
Said,
no,
said.
no, no, no,
First
no,
of
no.
all,
So now,
hold on.
no, you hold on.
Let me say this before you
No,
get in
no,
on me.
no, 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 no. Now is your listening time. Now you're gonna
Okay.
answer a question. What's the chemical composition of air? Since you want to do
I
this
don't
and try
know.
to
I
do it,
asked you. You the scientist. I
oh,
don't know. I
so
told you I'm a
so
layman. The
so
first time
so
I
good.
came on your
So
show,
don't carry
I
me.
said to
Don't.
you that I'm a
Okay, okay. Oh, whoa, whoa.
yeah.
So you're not carrying me anywhere. We're gonna stay right by the pipe.
Okay.
So force is a common denominator.
Yes.
You
What is the
apply
force
force.
pushing?
You apply force to different mediums.
Yes, sir.
Oh, good. Does that make the mediums the same, or that does?
No.
So does that indicate that the force has a particular effect?
Well, what word will
Answer the question.
I'm
Answer the
trying to
question.
answer your question by giving
That's
you
a
a
yes or
correct
no answer.
answer so you won't. Oh, it's a yes or no.
Yeah, yes or no. That's an easy one.
Oh, man.
Answer that again. I'm sorry.
So you weren't listening, actually.
I was listening, but I was trying
No,
to think of
because
an
if
answer.
you were trying to think of an
How do
answer
we
to a question you don't know, you don't remember.
how do we
Yes.
move from consciousness to
How does
oxygen and
that
Watch
make
water,
any
out.
bro?
sense? How
Say
does
what
that
you
make
say that
any
again,
sense?
sir.
So you're trying to figure a answer to a question you don't remember.
Okay, can you ask the question again, please? You said the impetus of the force, does it change the median of
I
the
didn't say
uh
anything about impotence. I said the force is the common denominator.
call it
Force,
impotence? Because I've been
force.
studying Latin
Well,
all day.
no, no,
Oh,
no. Over here, you're gonna use the precise nomenclature because what you want to do is
Okay,
take you down
force.
a rabbit hole. I see what you do, and I'm gonna show you. I'm
No,
gonna
stop, man.
demonstrate to
Could
you
you not
right.
do that to me?
All right.
I'm not doing anything. I'm just asking
Good.
questions,
So
said.
why are we still on this subject of you trying to equate air to water?
Because
Stop.
if
Uh, uh,
you just
if
asked me a
you
question.
no, that was a rhetorical question. It is exposing
Okay.
the fallaciousness of
well,
what you do. So once we answered it and established that these things are not, they are mutually exclusive, you cannot make that linguistic analogy. You have subsequently tried to do the
something
question
basic,
thing to
building
get
block.
right there. So we are
Right
playing that
where?
game
Right where?
to
Where?
back to your equation that you are trying to make. Right? You
I
are
wasn't making
trying,
it.
so you're trying to equate air and liquid air as some kind of fluid. We could see it like that, and I destroy that philosophical premise. So right now,
Yeah.
you are trying to do 1,000 questions to get back to that
No.
philosophical position.
Yo, you
So
guys are
why
very
are we still on
accusatory.
that?
I'm just
So why
asking
are we
questions.
still
I'm
on
not
that?
trying.
About what? To what
Said
end?
I am.
To what
I
end?
am.
What?
To what
What
I
end?
is
am
that?
not trying to.
What
I'm not.
is what is the objective of the series of questions? What are you trying to
The
accomplish?
objective is for me to get your
What?
get your
What?
understanding
What?
scientifically about
About
the
what?
What?
thoughts that about
From
the thoughts.
consciousness to water? Am I
Jesus
tripping, bro?
Christ. No,
Did he not
move,
ask that man about consciousness, or am I tripping?
move. Said, I'm asking you, brother.
Hey, Cedric, can you hear
Okay.
me, bro? Can you hear what I'm saying, bro?
Yeah, what
Did
he's
this
saying.
man
No,
ask you about consciousness, yo?
no,
Or
Yes,
am I,
he did.
am I
no. The
delusional?
reason why I asked, the reason
No,
why I
no,
asked,
no, 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 no. I'm
the
saying you went
reason
from
why I asked
consciousness to
about consciousness,
oxygen to
because
water.
I just went into how
Yo, what are
when
you?
I was
No,
younger,
what are
and
you?
then
No, what are
Jesus
you
Christ,
doing
man,
though?
what's
No,
wrong
what are
with
you?
you, man?
Man, is what you? What are you doing though, yo?
What you want to do? You want to
No,
be
I'm actually what
No,
disruptive?
you.
no,
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 I'm
no.
being
I,
disruptive, yo.
I'm trying
Practice.
to.
Whoa,
I'm
whoa,
you
whoa,
come up
whoa, whoa,
here
whoa, whoa,
and,
whoa.
and
Practice.
ask a question
Practice.
about
Let
some
me
damn
explain
water
something.
and some damn oxygen for 25 minutes, and you gonna say I'm being disruptive? You fucking
Yeah.
stupid. Excuse my language. It's dumb.
You have no course on where your questioning is going. You just up here talking crazy. And on top of that, you're a damn pseudo, 100%. So now what? A fake Native American. Now all of a sudden you will have some sense and ask about oxygen. And is it water? You playing with me. I don't got time to sit up here and watch you just humble, bumble, bumble. Knock it off, bro. That ain't no question. You tripping. You don't even know why you asking the questions. Then you playing us like you serious. You not serious. You trolling.
Move. You're not a teacher. Says a teacher. That's why I be
All right,
wanting to
nigga. Well,
talk to
right,
CJ.
right. I'm
Oh,
not a teacher.
go.
You
That's
right.
it.
I agree.
Go. Ron, go ahead.
Yeah, how you guys doing? Yeah,
I'm
praxis.
good.
Knock it off, praxis. You're not being serious.
Thank you, yo.
Yeah, not being serious. Good presentation, Cedric. I think I like what you're doing. You're getting us to some subjects that I think, at least for me, are very interesting around consciousness. So I'll be glad when you get there and you start talking about qualia and consciousness and things like that, because I find I find those topics, excuse me, pretty interesting. But you're doing a great job here, and I'm not sure what Praxis was trying to do. We're talking about gases and water and fluids and stuff like that. I mean that is totally off topic. So I mean, I didn't get that one at all. But
You
anyway,
know
good,
what it
good.
is, right? He came in with a philosophical position that got dismantled, and the dismantling was a little too quick. So now he's doing the 21 question thing as if he can get there. And there's no way for him to get there. At some
No,
point, just give it up. Like,
yeah,
okay, you've explored the options to make that thing you're thinking coherent. It simply isn't. Let it go at that point. You want to do the
yeah,
21 questions, and then I'm asked, okay, what's the objective of these questions? There is none.
yeah.
There is none.
He's totally off topic and talking
Yeah,
about something that you never even
and
talked about in your presentation. So
yeah. So that's absolutely right, Aran. It is putting down these philosophical concepts in their proper context, right? So that when we're having these conversations, at least we understand the premises from which we are departing. A lot of people have these philosophical positions and not aware of how they have them, what they are, where they came from. So that's why these conversations are important. Like we assume that this thing called a soul is a factuality, like that's an established thing. No, it is an outdated concept that comes from Platonian and Aristotelian reasoning, misappropriating older concepts which did not have the same framework attached to them, right? And when we're studying the brain, concept like physicalism, that is something that is going to take a while for people to be grounded in, right? We talk about it on the space show that space time is physical. It can bend, so this space in between my hand is physical. It can bend with enough force of gravity. You can bend this space here. But I can't touch it. I can't feel it. It doesn't exist. And that is very hard to conceptualize because we always have a very materialistic view of the world, right? We operate on a Newtonian level. We have physicality. So to understand, and this is where wordplay. Physical is material. Non-physical, non-physical is within the physical realm. You see how the words can cause a lot of confusion.
yeah,
That's what I'm saying. So that's why I think
yeah, for sure.
it's important to do these type of shows. Play with the words, get them rolling off of our tongues, like methodological naturalism, natural philosophy, epistemic regimes, right? Epistemic rupture. These are terms that for us to continue to develop and grow need to be part of the lexicon. All
Yeah,
right.
you're right. You're absolutely right. I think you can't get around reality in the world that we live. It's impossible.
Yeah.
And when you and I have, let's say, discussions or maybe even disagreements, the disagreements aren't really around reality or the physical universe. It's really around what's fundamental And I think that's why I'm interested in when you start talking about consciousness and stuff like that. Uh, we can have some discussion around that. I know the consensus is around basically around physicalism, but I'm also interested in what sometimes called the hard problem of consciousness,
Yeah,
and where it comes from.
I have a very interesting take on the hard problem of consciousness, and of course, I'm waiting to dive into the subject of qualia, right? Because
Yeah,
that
yeah,
is
yeah,
where
yeah.
we
It's
get
interesting.
to play with the mind a bit, right? Like, and
Yeah,
it ties directly into some of the older brain show series. Man, I wish the brain show was moving simultaneously with what we're doing now, right? Because it will ground everything. It is so beautiful, but it is based on those shows and stuff like that that I did the deep dive and did a lot of the work with regards to the hard problem. And it is a philosophical one that is going to remain a juggernaut until we accept and embrace a little bit more of determinism.
they don't say that in front of Aunt now. Come on, determinism.
Hey, I gave the drum roll again. Qualia and the hard problem gets absorbed in determinism.
Okay, you saying amen or what?
What? I don't know, man. I
Determinism.
don't. No, I don't.
You didn't give up on it, right? Okay.
Oh man.
No, I don't fight over stuff I don't understand. I'm not gonna do it. Hey, me sound like a fool up here, yo.
Yeah, but you see, and shout out to Chill as well. This is why we do these brain experiments in the Discord. Chill has been busy, so we haven't had them for a while. But he would put a brain experiment in there, a thought experiment, and sometimes that would take us down rabbit holes for 3 days. What the engagement is, it's not the solution. The answer isn't important. It is that you engage in reasoning, thinking, the process. Which system are you going to apply? Are you going to apply methodological naturalism? Are you departing from a dualistic position? Are you grounded in empiricism? Are you a materialist? These are important conversations to have because they simply sharpen the mind and it helps us in our ability to reason. Shout out to Shaw Black. I saw Black News 1 or 2 in the building. Always appreciate the Godfather and the GOAT dropping by. Y'all can say what you want, but there is no conscious community without the GOAT himself, Sonetta. So I appreciate you being in the building. Praxis, I'm gonna let you off the mic. However, you have to walk a very fine road, and there is no disrespect to the God killer. That absolutely not. None of us.
Well, let me
Whether,
let me get mine in before he start 100 stupid
yeah, yeah, yeah.
questions, yo. Let me get
Go
mine
ahead.
in.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
So we often hear that there's no such thing as a dumb and stupid question, right? But people come on with preconceived ideas and trying to catch you up to something that's crazy. And it's clear from certain people's lines of questioning that they don't even know where they're going at. Right? You did a lesson, man. Why not just make them questions around the lesson? Yo? Why not? Why not just do that? I mean, it's unhealthy to just talk crazy. You know what I mean? To jump from here to jump from there. Like, how is it? Come on, man. We trying to learn something, man. You're doing a great job. You take time, you put a lesson plan together, it's organized, and I jump up here and start talking about what's oxygen. A damn kid know what the hell oxygen is. A kid know what water is. If people walking around right now in the hood or in corporate America, everybody know the damn water is H2O. It's on the water bottle, H2O. So the fact that you could even ask that question, you just being funny, yo. I got mine. I'm good.
I was trying to do the Sosa thing, trying to figure out what was the intent behind the series of questioning. I understood the philosophical idea he had in the beginning. What you were seeing is the condensation of air once put under a heavy pressure. but that isn't becoming liquid or becoming fluid. These are fundamentally different properties. In none of your explanations these properties are going to overlap. What you're seeing is the result of force being applied to both material and immaterial, but physical substances. That's how you experience it. So I was just where we're going with a series of questions. Now, you can have a series of questions, but they must be framed around a particular issue. Listen, I want to know how much sugar is in that cup. Then I'm going to ask a series of questions. What's the size of the cup? What type of sugar you using? What spoon you use? How many scoops? Those questions are all within the framework of answering one particular question. To God Killer's point, there was no red line in your questioning. It's all over the place. And that's why I said, now, what is the intent and the purpose of that line of questioning? Maybe you have a valid reason, but without understanding the objective or the intent, there's no coherency to it. I can answer a question 15 different ways depending on what you want answered. Go ahead.
And then he called us
The
some
reason
scientists.
why
No damn scientists. Tripping.
Yeah, I'm
the
no
reason why
scientist.
I asked the reason why I asked those questions. First of all, let me know. I'm gonna give you a background on me. I didn't finish high school, right? So I understand it's
You said
hard
you
talking.
didn't. You said you didn't finish high school.
I didn't finish high school,
So
right?
why don't you just
So
go back
what?
down in the audience then and get a pen and paper?
No, because some people might be watching it now or later, might have the same questions as me because of our level of understanding of what you're speaking of.
You trolling, yo.
No, I'm not. I listen. If you look at my channel, I don't know if you can see my channel. You can see how old my channel is. I've been watching Sarnetta for a long time, and one of the reasons why I got a channel was to come up and speak to Seg. Every time I seen Seg on that channel, I thought he was more intelligent than all anybody that was up there. I don't give a fuck
Oh,
what
the
they was talking about
gaslighting, the
originally or
gaslighting
anything.
in it. Listen, listen. These
No, I'm
pseudo killers.
serious. I'm so
No, no,
serious.
no.
And
Wait,
then
wait,
you
wait,
said you
wait,
was
wait, wait, wait. Let me say something. Let me say something.
Nah,
yeah.
he might.
The
Nah, I believe him.
gaslighting
I
and
believe
and
him.
and the feather in the. Listen,
Nah,
I
he
I'm
stopped
said I
watching.
actually believe him. I
Hey,
actually
first
believe him, yo.
the first thing I did was I stopped watching Sarnetta, and then I seen God Killer talk about science and stuff. So I went to Pseudo Killers when he first started with what's that light skinned guy name? He was
chef,
Baltimore. He got the red hair.
What?
chef,
I
chef,
started
chef.
watching Chef, yeah, Chef, and then he got his own channel. I stopped watching his channel because I don't know, it just didn't interest me. And then I watched God Killer, and then I seen you come up there, and then I was like, oh shit, he got his own channel, right?
No,
So I'm gonna
no,
find no. You
no.
said,
This is the pseudo killers channel. I am
oh,
part
this Sue
of
Killer,
the
okay,
pseudo killers.
yeah, that's why I posed my question to you on the when he was on the other channel, the Pseudo Killers channel. The other day when I was up there, we was talking about religion and all that.
All
So I
right,
thought you
so
all go
you're
so
good.
say,
So you're a
but
good supporter
and
and a
this is
good fan.
I'm asking.
You're a good
as I
fan.
when
You're a
I
good
first
supporter,
came up
yo.
when I first came up when I first came up, I told you guys I don't know what y'all talking about a troll. I don't live under a bridge or nothing, so I don't know anything about that.
Yes, you do. You do live
No, I
under the
don't.
bridge.
Oh yeah,
You
well you're
do.
right. I
It's
live on the
called the
bridge.
pseudo. It's called the pseudo bridge. It's a pseudo bridge.
You got
Okay,
star on your
well
It's
head.
got
You got
whatever.
sign
star on your
pseudo.
head now. You see what you said? You got star
That's
on
what.
your head.
Well, that's what whatever you guys want to call it. I don't think so. So
Uh
I'm
huh.
going to disagree that I'm pseudo because how can you be pseudo if you don't know anything? I don't know
Uh
anything.
huh. You
I
said
got
this
a.
is what you said. Now,
Hey,
now
yo,
you
you know
got.
I got a channel on Sunday.
You don't know anything. I don't know anything.
Uh-huh. You
I
said
got
this
a.
is what you said.
What you
Now,
You
said?
watch Sunday.
Somebody got an
You watch
echo.
this on Sunday. You. I said. I said you watch Sunday because I be on there on Sunday TV. I run the channel. You see me
Yeah,
over
I
there on
watched Sarnetta
Sunday.
TV. I
uh,
All right,
I'm
okay
a
then.
conscious
All right,
person. I
there
lived
we
in the
go.
street, so I get it. I've been on 125th. I'm
Oh,
from
no, no,
Brooklyn,
you
right?
definitely
So
you definitely conscious. You definitely conscious person. Fifth grade,
yeah.
finished high school. Great.
And now that we're talking about conscious, that's why I brought up the concept of the air and the water. Is the air and the water conscious?
All right, let me give you a second before I get to that. I'm
Okay.
gonna go back to you. I'm gonna give the Godfather himself. I appreciate you being on the platform. So what to do? What to do,
Oh
sir?
snap, Sonetta.
Peace to the pseudo killers, man. You already know what it is. I
Ah,
only
y'all
popped up.
niggas glazing now, but y'all
I only
glazing.
popped up because I heard the brother say I used to watch Sarnetta. I'm like, what? The hell you mean you used to watch Sarnetta? Now I watch Unk and him. Brother, we all together, man. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? If you want to do your pseudo talk, you come over to me, man. But when you want to do this real shit, you come over here to Unk and Cedric and him. What are you doing? What are you doing, man? Come on, bro. You get your pseudo shit in over here with the Sarnetta shit.
That's funny, yo.
Yeah,
That's
man.
hilarious.
Hey, yo, it is what it is, man.
That was a good
I
one right
appreciate
there.
Yeah,
that, sir.
I'm gonna call you out if you're not on point, bro. I'm gonna tell you that.
Well, I don't think Unc is
Pseudo.
have
So
the band. I don't think he has the bandwidth to deal with the questions that
what
I
you
have because even in the conversations that we have, he stopped the conversation even though we was going in a prosperous area for knowledge, right? So
I don't got the
what are you
bandwidth,
gonna do
yo,
with
because
that?
you're right. I don't know.
Yeah,
You asked me
and
what
that's
was
fine.
oxygen.
That's fine. Everybody get
I
Respectful
told you
practice.
I told you the atomic number of oxygen on the element
Disrespectful,
chart,
man.
yo. Right?
yeah,
I
that's
told
fine.
you all that. And I told you it was 8 protons, 8 neutrons, right? I
Yeah,
told you all that. So whatever bandwidth I needed, I could remember that. You ain't even
yeah.
know it existed on the element chart
No,
because you flunked out of high school.
I'm talking
Because you
about
flunked
your.
out of high school. Because you
I'm
flunked out of
talking.
high school. You didn't even
Yeah,
know it was on the element chart. How about that?
yeah. I know the element chart. That's why asked the element question.
All right then. So then what
The
else was it?
reason
What that?
the
So
your level of
so
frustration, your patience. You
let's
have
get to
low
your
metal.
question.
I don't
Let's
got no
get to your
patience with
question.
you. You're a native,
Let's get to
you're an
your
Indian.
question. Repeat
Yeah,
your question again.
I know that sometimes people don't have patience with
No,
people
I
like
said
myself.
repeat
That's
your
fine.
question again. Let's get
Yeah,
to it.
correct.
The reason why
Correct.
I
Cedric
asked
got
that
patience
question
with
is
you.
No,
because
I said repeat your question again. Repeat it. We don't know what the question was. You
is
said something
water
about
and air
consciousness.
conscious?
All right. We're gonna do the Socratic method here, right? So now I'm gonna
Yeah, I
ask you a
understand.
series of questions.
Yeah.
So um the your question is water or air conscious. All right. What did you watch the presentation? I know you watched the presentation. You were in the chat, right?
I watched some of it. I didn't catch you when you first started.
Okay. So emergentism. Do you have an understanding of what
Emergent.
emergentism is?
Yeah, it's like collaborating, put it together in one property.
So okay, let's use the university analogy.
Yes, sir.
I take you to the building. I show you the campus. I show you the teachers. I show you the faculty. I show you the classrooms. I show you the students. We go to the library. We go to the study hall. We go to the sports facilities. When we're done, you ask me, "Where's the university?"
Hmm.
You see how invalid that question would be
I asked you, where's the university?
after
Okay.
being shown all the components.
Yeah, all the
So
components inside of it. Okay.
these components together, working together, is what we call and what we say is a university, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So you have classrooms, teachers, all of these stuff coming together, merging together, produces an emergent property which we call a university.
Okay. So now that
Let me give you
Mhm.
another analogy. Nope, nope, nope,
Okay.
nope. I'm gonna give you another analogy.
Yeah.
You have a bricks, you have some sand, you have some cement.
Hmm.
Do you have a wall? Do you have a wall? You have bricks, you have
Oh,
sand, cement.
separately? No, you got
Yeah,
to put it
separate.
together.
You got to put it together. So a
You got to
wall
mix it.
is an
Yeah.
emergent property of the
The
mortar
elements. Yeah.
and the bricks, right? You put them
Yes.
together, and when you put that together, now you have what is called a wall. So now
Yeah.
you have brains, you
Hmm.
have neural networks, you have biological systems. right? To varying degrees. And these biological systems and their inner workings and their processing produce something that we call awareness in varying degrees,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Sentient beings have awareness. So their biological processes via a neural network in most animals, it's accumulated and processed by a brain,
Right.
and this brain produces the awareness. So
Right.
the way a bat behaves is part of its awareness. The way a human behaves and interacts with its environment, it's that awareness, right? So what we call awareness, consciousness, is a byproduct, an emergent property of physical matter interacting, right? You
Yeah.
get that?
Yeah.
So that is what we quantify as consciousness. So now you know what consciousness is and how it
Yeah.
works rudimentary. Now let's go back to your initial question. Ask me your initial question again now.
Is air and water conscious?
Good. What's the answer?
Yes.
Okay, good.
So the Buddhists had
All
it
right,
right
all right,
then.
all right.
Come on,
Okay,
come
that's
on,
it. No, no,
right,
Nah,
you
right.
answered
air
it
and
for
water,
yourself.
Praxis, come on,
air
That's
Praxis.
and
it.
You're
water
not
is
Give it.
not conscious, Cedric.
Praxis.
Thank
You're
you.
not even,
Thank you,
you
sir.
didn't even, you're
Air
not
and
being
water
honest,
is
man.
not
Come on,
conscious, man.
Thank you,
you're
sir.
not being honest, Praxis. Come on,
Thank
Yeah.
you, sir. I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
Praxis.
So,
You're not
so,
being
so
honest.
you see, we
Watch
took
your
the
mouth, Joe.
time. We took the time, went through the exercise, and the brother proved that he's doing exactly what Unc accused you of. Now, right
Hey, hey,
now, you put
hey,
yourself
Cedric.
in the troll category. There's a whole
Hey,
nother different type of treatment you will get now. Let's be aware.
hey, Cedric. Let me try. Let me try my hand at it. Let
Go
me try
ahead.
my hand at it.
Oh,
You
y'all
got the
just want
floor.
So,
somebody to
No,
pick
no,
on.
no, no. Unc got the
nah,
floor.
nah, nah. I
I
ain't
gotta
gonna pick
go.
on you. I ain't gonna pick on you.
Nah, y'all
I'm
just
not gonna
want.
pick on you. Nah, I ain't gonna pick on you. I got you, Pratt. I ain't gonna pick on you. I'm gonna do you a solid, right? Now, I'm gonna try to give a non-complicated version of what you, so you can kind of understand it, right? I would say this: the natural elements, right? The universe is composed of the natural elements. The sun that you're looking at, right? Not our sun in particular, but suns they produce elements, right? Now, the elements that it produced do not have the ability to be conscious. But what actually happens is your body itself is composed of all the elements, right? And when all those things collaborate to form cells and all that and form a damn brain in the human body, then, then and only then, right, through a brain do we consider anything conscious. You get that? But if you strip away all the elements, then you strip away all the matter and you strip away everything, and then you don't have nothing. But it's a collaboration of all those things that will come together in a brain. You get it? If you was to dissect the brain and break it down, you would break it down to cells, and then you said, what's that made of? It's gonna be made of elements. And those elements have electrons, protons, neutrons, negative, positive, neutral charges, all that. So very simple, bro. The elements by themselves are not consciousness, but when it gets to the point where things evolve and you form a brain, right, through the brain function and all other systems that collaborate with it, this is what we call consciousness, yo. That's simple right there, bro.
Practice. Go ahead.
So you saying water by itself without the air isn't conscious?
So
No,
I'm gonna
right,
ask
right,
you again.
correct.
I'm gonna ask
No,
you
that
So
again.
the
was it. No,
element,
that was it, Cedric. That was it. The elements by
that's
itself.
what he
No.
just said. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. You need right. You get it. You need an organism,
Because
right?
you need the air, you need the air to
Of
help
course.
clean the
You
water,
need
right? I mean, you need that
no, no,
water
no.
to
You
help
need
clean the air.
no. You need the oxygen so
Right.
an organism
You
Water
can
and
messing
air are
live.
that up, bro.
two
You
separate
The
messing
things.
that up.
algae in the water, doesn't it
No, that's
Brother,
affect the
different.
you
air?
messing that
You
up,
too
brother.
far. Yeah, you
Yeah,
messing that
water and
up
air
Water,
are
too
two.
far.
Water and air are
water
separate.
in the air, water in the air together is not consciousness, brother.
Yes, it's separate.
You
I
messing
think
that up.
Issue.
I think what you're talking about, Praxis, and Cedric, you correct me if I'm wrong, but I think what he's trying to get at is something like panpsychism, and that's not what you were. That's not what you're showing
What's
us in
that?
terms of your panpsychism. An understanding that everything has consciousness. The consciousness is in all matter,
Mm.
from the smallest to the largest, even on the atomic level, even subatomic maybe. That's panpsychism, but that's not what Cedric is teaching. He's teaching more physicalism, and I think you're off on a different venue talking about panpsychism. Panpsychism is not the accepted view of science.
I don't know what that is, so I'm just asking questions.
No,
So
no, no.
Ron,
Yeah,
you're
Yeah.
absolutely right.
yes.
In the philosophy of mind, of course, we're gonna examine all the schools of thought, right? Because that's the only way to do it in a sincere manner. So panpsychism and I think also panphysicalism is going to be broached within this series. But so this is what Ron is trying to explain you. When you approach it like that, or you're framing your questions in that manner, it is indicative of a particular frame of school of thought where all things are endowed with consciousness. All aspects of reality is endowed with consciousness. If you say that, we can understand it's a philosophical framework. It is not one that it is within the epistemic or empirical area. That is one usually left within a more theological philosophical framework. However, understanding consciousness from a materialist or a physicalist position, where we use science, and that's the environment you're in, there is no way that you are going to consider air and water or any of the elements within and of themselves conscious, because we talk about emergentism, these things working together. Same way that a hydrogen molecule is not water, nor is an oxygen molecule water. Water is when these two come together. Water is an emergent property of a hydrogen and of two hydrogen and one oxygen molecule. It's a
Said,
result of.
is everything made of atoms? Just a base element?
So that's a good
An atom
question.
is
Now,
not an atom
again,
is not an element. It's an atom.
it's an atom.
Okay,
Everything,
it's not an element.
everything in reality is made out of atoms, and
Everything is
atoms
made out of
have,
atoms, right?
yes, and atoms themselves have different
Yeah.
compositions and how they work together. So, so yes, you have different size atoms,
Okay. I'm
protons.
simple because I'm just looking at everything to this least compound, this base compound, and I
What is
look
the
at
base?
everything the same.
What is the base
It's just
compound?
expressing it in different ways. The atom, everything is atom. Consciousness is atom.
Really, really.
Atom is consciousness.
So
So
you're
you do
just
know. So you do know, because a Cedric. So he do know. He do know that,
No, this is when I'm
right? He's acting
sussing.
like he knows now.
No, because
No, no, no,
I'm
no, no. You
sussing it.
because I hold on. Listen. No, no. Listen. Listen. You remember I told you that stars produce elements. Remember I said that.
Yes, sir.
All right, and I said that elements alone, atoms and all that, right, does not have consciousness alone.
Yeah.
Remember I said that? I said
Yes.
I said it needs it needs a living organism, right?
Yeah.
You get that?
Yes.
Okay, there you go, yo.
I
Just
know y'all. Listen,
like
I'm gonna tell
if
you.
you was to
I
break
know you
this.
guys. I know
No,
you
don't
guys
cut
got
me
to
off.
do a
Let me just
show.
say this.
And
I'm
oh, I
saying,
thought you was finished.
hold on, let me
Okay.
finish it. No, no, no. Let me say this. No, I'm saying if I was to dissect you all the way down to the very last compound, yo, you just would be a daggone ball of elements, yeah, and atoms from distant stars. You get it? Like,
Yeah.
come on, yo.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, yeah. If
Yeah.
you ain't graduate
I
high
know you
school, I
guys.
bet you can get
I
that
know
though.
you guys. Yeah. Right. I know you guys. I know you guys got to put on the show and put people in a
We ain't putting on
in
no
a
show.
posture, putting people in a posture of protestation. I'm not the one for that. I just want to learn.
What?
And Sarnetta, I do still watch your
No,
show.
that's
I
not
watch your
true.
show today.
That's not true.
I watch your show today,
It's not
Sarnetta,
true.
with Jabari and
Hey,
that
that
Carrie
shit
guy,
up.
that debate. I watched that. So I still watch your show, Sarnetta, when I can catch it.
Good
Practice.
looking, brother.
Yeah.
Hey, Sonetta. Hey,
And I seen
Sonetta.
that
You got to
twice. I
get.
saw that
I was
twice.
talking to. Hey, Sal. I was talking to Wishmacomer yesterday. The Ashe, right?
and he said he gonna do a presentation on the conscious community. He got the shit all mixed up. I was trying to tell him, I said, you the godfather of it, right? And it was outside, and you was actually the market that actually pushed and pumped you was the mechanism, right? Where you could, I told him you couldn't get no DVDs. You could get it online at one spot, and you could get it from you, right? And all you got all the videos. I was trying to explain. He getting John Henry Clark, Dr. Benham mixed up. No. John Henry Clark, Dr. Benham was in a different lane, and the conscious community used their material. Delbert Blair and all them, Black Dot, all the people you know. You get my point? I'm trying to show them. Matter of fact,
it wasn't called the conscious community with Dr. Clark and them.
That's right.
That only came along when I started doing the 125th Street work.
Yeah, told you. I tell you, I said that's the godfather right there. That
you probably didn't even know that.
What you mean? Didn't know what?
Yeah.
Didn't know what?
That it wasn't called the conscious community at that time with Dr. Ben and Dr. Clark and them.
I knew that because they was dealing with the Harlem History Club, right? I knew that.
There you go.
That's what I told
They was called
the
UAM, the National Black Theater. That's what they was using.
That's right.
And so when I came along on 125th Street, I called it the conscious. What I called it? Something conscious. I named it conscious something, and then we just started saying the conscious community, and the people started saying that.
Yeah, but we gotta get the Wikipedia article right because they messed it all up, bro. And I'm a campaign. We gotta get that right because that's wrong. I say don't know what the hell he talking. He don't know. He think John Henry Clark. He don't know. He don't know. You gotta let him do it though. Don't tell him.
I'm not gonna tell him. They don't know nothing.
Yeah, let him do it.
Dr. Clark and all of them, they didn't know nothing about no conscious community.
Right. Matter of fact, to be slick with it, you wouldn't even have known about them if you had the black market everybody material, like all crazy. All them claim to hate you. But if it don't go through that mechanism that you got outside on 125th, y'all wouldn't even know about them. You wouldn't even known about them, right? Because they was doing lectures. You would have to go to their lectures to understand what they were saying.
Right.
What is the meaning of conscious community?
She asked Sarnetta.
It just was simply meaning that you was gaining conscious information and knowledge. And so you was in that group, in that conscious community.
So wouldn't John Henry Clark and them and Dr. Ben would be conscious?
Nope.
No, brother. They conscious, but they don't know nothing about a conscious community.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
See? They're
never conscious.
They never even heard that.
They're conscious.
Heard that, brother.
Doing something different.
Yeah, I understand the label, but I'm saying I consider anybody that's obtaining knowledge to be
wrong.
Because when I look at Latin and con means with.
Nah, brother, don't do that, man. Don't start.
Don't do what?
That's pseudo. When you start doing all that stuff, brother, you don't need to do all of that. See, what happened was the conscious community got a bad label on it because people started BS.
Why?
You know, like, what you mean? Why? Like, you don't know everybody's intentions. You know, like you have polite will come through, and all kind of people will start to scam the Umar, the polites, and you know, and people just stopped trusting it, and so they blamed everybody. And
they stopped trusting.
They blame
me because I'm the one that was filming these guys. And so they blame me like I was supposed to know their every move, know what their life is about. You know, that's crazy.
And that's the reason why in the other conversation I said adults are like children.
What?
Because that's childish right there. Yeah. Why would they blame you for somebody else's action?
I don't know, but
that's childish.
And right there, I'm gonna give Grant the floor. Grant, you got the floor, my brother.
Okay.
Yeah. Hey, so I have a question for Praxis. So you say that you
got a question for me?
Yes, you.
Guy from pretty knowledge.
You seem to have a lot of questions, and it sounds like and I just wanted to see if I can ask you some questions. Correct?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So if you are asking questions and you're going onto a platform, and let's say you're saying, or at least you're asking if air and water has conscience, correct?
Yes.
All right. Now, do you believe that, or are you just wondering out loud if that is true or not?
I'm wondering out loud if that's true because
Mhm.
I'm experiencing the air and the water and all the other elements, right?
Okay.
So I wanted to see if that is conscious itself,
Okay.
what I'm experiencing,
Okay.
right?
So then, if the
So it's not the material that's conscious, it's the
uh-huh.
fact that I'm experiencing
Hmm.
and responding to those matters.
Uh-huh.
That's the consciousness.
Okay. So then, what makes you perceive your experience to be consciousness? So what is the tethering between you having an experience and that the air and water has consciousness? So how are you getting to that?
Because they're elements and they have properties. That's why I asked what was the elements in air and the elements in water,
Okay.
because they have their own elements.
Yes. So if we could tell you the elements, but what if we knew what the elements are, correct? And we provide the elements. What
Mhm.
does those elements tell you about consciousness?
That it's conscious itself because it has its own properties.
So are you saying properties equals consciousness?
That's what I'm sussing.
That's what you're saying.
No.
So you're
Can I
saying
get
so
in?
that
Oh,
is
go ahead. Go ahead. My fault.
yeah. So
Because
you're
he
saying
said emergent, right? The
mhm,
classrooms, the students, the teacher, professors, and then you have the building.
yes,
So that whole space is the university, right?
yes.
So that is consciousness. Consciousness have different elements in it.
So would you say that would you say
Huh?
that all those pieces of
It's
that make up the
wait a minute. It's comprised of different elements.
yes, but a university has a definition, and the definition would include those individual pieces that makes it that, correct? Just
Yes.
like I wouldn't call a steering wheel, four wheels, car body, correct? And and seats, correct? I wouldn't call that a university because I would call it a car because of the prescribed the
The
sort of
mode of
prescribed.
operations, the modus
Well,
operandi. Yeah.
we know what a car comprises of, correct? Even if you take some parts away and add something else, it still fits within that realm, correct? You can have four doors or two doors, but it still fits within that objective, correct?
Absolutely.
So then the next question would be, if you're saying that you're having these elements equals consciousness, are you gaining that? Where are you coming up with the basic framework that consciousness equals these elements?
Because I understand consciousness as being um um a thing that responds to another thing,
Okay.
a property that's responding to another property.
Is that a definition you have, or a definition that you have observed that the other individuals have come up with?
I only can suss what other people say to me.
So are you saying other people share your definition of consciousness? That
I only
like you and I share this. Let me use this. So you and I both share the same definition for car and what comprises of a car, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So in essence, you and I would never get into a confusion as to what a
Go on
car is.
mute.
Oh shit.
So
Damn, son.
you would agree that you and I would probably never get into a disagreement as to what comprises of a car because our baseline understanding of a car are fundamentally the same. Would you agree?
I would concur.
Okay. So then when you're talking about consciousness, what I'm trying to figure out is where are you gaining this information in which that other people are aligned with you on your definition of consciousness?
In line with me because I got those definitions from someone else,
Okay. And does
from
that
from somewhere else.
from somewhere else? And from that
Yeah.
somewhere else, do you find it with other people? So let me give you an example. If someone walked into this conversation and said, "I believe a car has no wheels and is actually just is a horse," correct? Would you agree with that?
A car has no wheels,
So
but it's
you
a
would say
horse.
if someone came along and said a car is a horse. In essence, they pretty much say that car isn't a car, what you and I agree, and that their new definition of a car is a horse. Correct? Would you agree with that would be a problem with that definition? If I just said that a car is a horse.
If we all didn't agree, then I would see that there was a problem.
Okay, and so even if one person has that definition, and that is a horse, does that mean a car is a horse?
If we all agree that that car is a horse,
yes, but if only one person is saying that a car is a horse and everyone else saying a car is a car, which two of these two perspectives seems more likely to be akin to reality versus one that is not reality?
it's not reality. Well, it is reality,
Is
but we have to. We have to. We have to agree, and we have to. And how we agree is we have conversations, right? We converse, right?
So when did you?
So when we have these conversations,
hold on, Praxis.
Then each person have to express why we should call a car a horse.
So when was the last time you engaged? When do you recall a time where you agreed to all the terms and definitions, or were these particular framing of reality shaped for you before you landed on this earth, correct? And then based on your reality and the names provided, do you think that is how you understand the reality that you're in?
Yeah, because I just did it with Sid, and I'm now doing it with you.
What do you think you're doing with me?
We're conversing about our ideas on our response and expression of the elements.
So do you think so what you're saying is the moment that someone disagrees with reality, that one can just have a conversation and then it puts the reality into question? So if again, according
to humanity, we have had conversations and also went to war, and killed people based on our understandings.
Like,
wasn't
you're being
there?
non sequitur. Whoa. So when you're having a conversation, the moment you stray off the plantation and you start to become over philosophically because you don't want to address what's being put in front of you. When I'm just trying to explain to you, bro, you're a grown man. If you come into a space where you understand what cars is and try to redefine what cars mean, and then being instructed and explained why you can't do that, at a certain point, what are you engaging in? You're no longer trying to have a coherent conversation because we've already established what cars mean, how that works. There is no way you're going to get us to agree to cars now being defined as a horse. There's no parameter. And from the moment that is shut down the first time, the insistence on trying to make that relevant becomes an issue. At that point, we're not having a conversation. At that point, you're now being a troll.
Now I understand what you're saying about that. And that's what goes back to what I was just saying. That's the reason why a lot of times we went to war about things, because of our understanding.
Stop.
All right.
Stop.
You just called me a troll.
You do not
Can
get
I get a
insist. Yeah, go
because
ahead.
of my understanding. Yes,
go
sir.
ahead, Dream. Go ahead.
Can I get a word? Okay.
Yeah, you got it, Dream. You got it.
One of the things that gave me insight into what his point is he said properties. Elements, compounds, etc. They have properties. All right. I'm gonna do a complicated one that's really simple, but then I'm gonna break it down in the simplest terms possible. All right. Sodium. The symbol for sodium is Na. It's one of the components of salt. Gives us life. One of the properties of sodium is when you throw sodium in water, when you add sodium to water, it spontaneously combusts, which means it pretty much explodes. That's like the simplest form of bomb you can make. Get some water, throw some sodium in it, it's going to blow up. If sodium had consciousness, it could decide to not blow up. But it doesn't do that. A property is
is when an element is said to have a property, or a compound is said to have a property, that's its nature. It can't change it. It can't change it. Gold is always going to shine. Water is always going to be wet unless it's vapor, and then it's going to be a gas. Have you ever poured a glass of water and you went to drink it and it decided not to go in your mouth because it didn't want to die? Has that ever happened to you? No.
No.
That's because water has no consciousness. Water does what we tell it to do, and it does not have the ability to deviate. All elements, all compounds, they react according to their nature and their properties. We didn't give them their properties, we discovered them. And then through science, we can say, okay, this substance does this substance does this substance does this. Damn, how can we use that? And then we mix and match and we manipulate the environment to do what we want it to do. So what you're not understanding is the basic difference between an inanimate object and an animate object. An inanimate object does not have consciousness. When you throw a rock, it's going to go where you throw it. It doesn't have an option. The rock, if you throw a baseball at the plate, it's not going to say in mid-flight, you know what? I want to go towards the outfield. It doesn't have that ability. It doesn't have consciousness.
Let me ask
So
you
it's
something.
really a
Okay.
simple fundamental concept. Now you could philosophize, you could do your pseudo philosophy all you want, but it's not going to change the reality. The water is not going to run away from your throat when you're drinking it. The baseball you threw to the plate is not going to change its mind and go to the outfield. And you can go down the line with any physical inanimate object. They are going to do what we tell them to do. Sentient beings, on the other hand, even the most simple sentient beings, we all got houses, right? You know how powerful sentient beings are? We really can't keep the bugs out of our house. So you know what we got to do? We can't keep the mice out. So you know what we got to do? We got to package our food up right so they can't smell it. We got to stay clean. We got to stay sanitary. Because you know what? If we just lay food around, our house will be full of vermin. That's because even down to the ant and the fly, they have a level of consciousness and they can think and they can seek out. They don't care about the boundaries of our house. All they see is, I got to survive. I need food. And if I got to go in there to get it, I'm going to get it.
Facts.
Understand that.
They
That's why
have consciousness.
Wait a
It's
minute.
a small level of
right.
consciousness. It's nowhere near the level of human consciousness,
If
but
you heard what I
they
said
have
earlier,
enough consciousness to survive and reproduce and to
yeah.
evolve.
All right. Yeah.
So
So what I'm
that's
saying is
pretty
that was
much it in a
Practice.
nutshell.
Let him land his plane.
When your
And
water,
then,
when your
forever.
water refuses to be drunk, then you can come back with this argument. But until then, you have zero argument and you have zero leg to stand on.
yes, sir. I'm
First
going
of
to
all,
give Saw the floor. Saw, you got the floor. You want to add
And I'm done
anything,
with
Saw?
that one.
Yeah, that's dead. Saw, you got the floor, Saw. Want to add anything?
No, no,
Oh damn,
I'm
I
just
gotta back
listening.
out because I lost the sound
I'm
again.
listening, brother said. That's all.
All
I'm just
right.
listening. I like how you running this thing, man. You making sure everything is correct. I love it, brother. Shout out to said and
Appreciate this,
the
Saw.
whole pseudo killers.
Appreciate you, Saw. Praxis, you can
Shout
respond. Go
out to
ahead.
my girl Juju too, and Tiffany. Can't forget the Tiff.
Yeah, I got to upload some bomb sounds and stuff. I'm going to do some work.
All right.
thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Peace, brother.
Peace to you.
So,
Now
you can
back to what
respond.
Preem. Okay. Back to what Preem was saying. I said earlier when it was just me and Said talking, I was talking about the response of the properties. Just because we can't control them and they're doing their own thing, they're conscious because they're doing what it's made to do, what it's there to do, right? When you use the property of sodium, it's already has its program in it.
So
But
And
the
if
that's not
you
program,
pick it up,
consciousness. Consciousness
whoa.
is
So,
consciousness is being able to go away from your programming. Humans have that. We
Humans
have
don't
that.
have
We
that.
can go away from our programming. We can fast. All right, we are made to eat,
Right.
but I can fast.
And then
We are
you'll
made to
die.
shit, but I decide when I shit. We are
Okay, you
made
went
to
on.
eat.
Okay,
We
hold
made
on.
to eat, but I can
I,
decide when to eat.
I understand you.
Inanimate objects can't decide anything at any
Consciousness is
point. And hold on. You see, you have a misunderstanding. You think because inanimate objects react to what we do to it, that's consciousness. No, that's your consciousness being applied to the object. So the object doesn't have consciousness. That's your physical brain and your synapses firing off, trying to make sense of the material world that you're sensing. So that isn't just the due fact that matter exists for us to manipulate it. That doesn't mean it's conscious. For matter to be conscious, it would have to do the manipulating. We have consciousness. We can manipulate our environment. The environment is subject to external forces. The rock doesn't decide where to lay. It goes where gravity takes it. It goes where the wind takes it. It goes where erosion takes it. But a bird can fly anywhere it wants.
Exactly.
A piece of
Hi, thank you
wood.
for joining us. We appreciate your support. Like, share and subscribe to the Pseudo Killers and
So it is
community of
what it is,
skeptics.
man.
Thank you.
all right. What I was saying
Freeman,
was the reason why I said because of the reaction and response. You're right. The thing you're not understanding, what I'm saying is that even us as human beings, we need to eat. We can't change that. We're going to die. We can't change that. So we're responding to the environments. Every time we take a breath, we oxidize and get older, right? We decaying every day. Every time we take a breath, that right there is consciousness.
No, it's not.
that's not consciousness praxis.
Yeah, but wouldn't you think
That's
So
that?
you
not
saying
consciousness. That's not consciousness.
Yeah,
so you
and you're
saying consciousness?
You're talking about a physical response. That's not consciousness.
You're
The
talking about your
the
metabolism.
consciousness is the ability to take in your environment and make decisions based off of what you see and what your goal is. So
So
consciousness,
that okay.
in other words, a wild dog,
Yeah.
it gets hungry.
Mm-hmm.
A wild dog is going to link up with everybody in the pack and be like, come on, man, let's rock out. It's time to eat. You hungry? You hungry? You hungry? You hungry? You hungry? We gotta ride out. That's a conscious decision that pack of wild dogs made to do that, to coordinate their search for food. That's consciousness. The food, the fact that say we were hunter gatherers. The fact that the berry doesn't get to decide where it grows. The berry doesn't get to decide whatever vine the berry grows on. That's where it got to stay. He can't decide to get up and move because it's an inanimate object with no consciousness. You see what I'm saying? Your whole concept of consciousness is I hate to say it, but you're wrong, bro. That's not what you think consciousness is. That's not the definition of consciousness.
No,
It's just not.
Okay. Well, I will say
Freeman's
this.
That's
right.
not how it works.
All right,
Freeman's
allow me
right.
to
You can't
retort.
argue with that.
Okay,
Stop
go
What
arguing.
ahead.
I'm saying is, well, we're doing a show. Let's conversate. You know,
Okay, yeah, I'm good, brother. We good,
with
bro.
verse.
You listen. I got a lot of energy, so it might seem like I'm yelling at you, but I'm not. I'm
No, no,
just,
no,
you know
no.
what I
I
mean.
get
That's
it.
just how I. That's just the
You
way.
know,
That's how my effect is.
he's cool.
yeah,
He's from Brooklyn. He's got this. Don't worry about it, Preem.
yeah. When the Jesuits got here, they said we was dragons because we, you know, the way we spoke to each other was like fire. We spit fire at each other. So I get it.
What?
This is the thing, though.
No. I'm
Even
practice. Whoa. Like, I get like this is not the environment for pseudo claims. Like
I'm not
it's
making a
not
claim. We
though.
talking.
It's not though. No, we're not talking. You don't get up. This is not the area to philosophize. This
I'm
is
not
not a conversation,
philosophizing. I'm
bro.
having a
Yes, you are.
conversation.
Yes, you are. When you're saying inanimate matter thinking, that's philosophy. That's not science.
Yes,
That's
it's
literally philosophy.
panpsychism.
So again, you're
I
on
did
mute.
not say thinking.
So
You
praxis,
said consciousness is
Bob.
thinking, though. Consciousness
Listen,
is thinking. That's what you don't
don't
get.
cut me off again. Don't cut me off again. Either you know what you're talking about or you don't. And if you don't, this is not the arena for you to come and hypothesize. And if you have an idea and it gets dismissed, is because we operate on a particular premise. This is not the arena for your philosophy. We're not having a dialogue. You are coming up here fucking fully ignorant, and excuse me for my French, ignorant, and proposing that your ignorant position is on equal footing with the academic data that we're putting down. No, don't shake your head. Stop. Because I'm about to lose my shit.
Don't do that.
No, no. On you.
If you pass out on me, we gonna
No,
fight. If you pass out on me,
be on you, because there is just but so much of the nonsense and the flim flammery I
just
can
relax, baby.
Now, bro, watch here. Watch. Just relax. Watch. I'm gonna put you down, and I don't need to just relax because I'm not entertained by your bullshit at a certain point in time. Right? We're having a coherent conversation. You do not stop and address what is in front of you. Synthesize that information with sincerity. You're not attempting to have a conversation. Because if you were attempting to have a conversation, if you were attempting to learn out of the ignorant position which you admit that you have, high school dropout, if you admit to that, then there's no position for you to be interjecting your opinion so often and so frequently with such vigor, because you're operating off of goddamn ignorance. And at a certain point, you insisting make sure it's indicative of you not wanting to learn. You're in an environment praxis where you are a student. No student behaves like you do. Your opinion is zero, has zero value in this arena. Zero. You're up here to entertain us to a certain degree. You ask a question or two, we'll entertain you. But at the point I'm not entertained anymore, you're supposed to realize that your bluff has been called and stop right there. Stop right there. That's the stop sign. Boom. No, it's over. The nonsense is done. Preem took his time, broke that shit all the way down. And you are going to come back and insist on something that has no other object but to respond to the force applied to it as being conscious. And you're going to continue to wrap that nonsense 60 million ways and not get anywhere. This show isn't about you. This show isn't about your irrelevant, insignificant, ignorant opinion. So the next time you jump up here, you ask one or two questions. When it's corrected, you say, okay. You do not interject your nonsense anymore because I had enough of it. I tolerated you. God Killer was done long time ago. Everyone else is done. The rest of them haven't popped off because I've been holding it down. But at this point, it's enough, bro. You're a troll, you're exposed, and we are just demonstrating our versatility in being able to handle a troll. But at some point, you got to recognize your gig is up, bro. You're making a fool of yourself at this point. And you think you're in a position of power. See how you got to sit down there now and just be quiet? Now, make all the noise you want. As a matter of fact, you
Very
get
good.
the clown of the day. Go.
Very good.
You're the clown of
I
the
like
day.
that.
Say some stupid shit. Watch how fast you get knocked out of here.
All right. Now, Preem, what I was saying was that those properties, right? They have to.
We had enough for today. See? You don't learn. We had enough for today. The boogeyman is back. See? That's how easy it is. I turn to the boogeyman. That's how easy. And he left because he knew he was full of shit. He left now because he knew he was full of shit. He wanted, this is the point you wanted to reach to. It's easy to reach there, bro. It's easy to reach there, you know. It's at the 2-hour mark because that's the point when my patience usually runs out. It's 2 hours and 4 minutes. So you get the full effect. You see how quickly I can go from to get the F up out of here?
Praxis, if you've paid any attention to me, what is the one thing that I always say about the conscious community is It's a whole lot of people who didn't get educated early in life. They get old, they try to play catch up, but they don't respect the process. This man admitted he was ignorant. I wasn't on the panel, but I was listening. He admit he can't, and see, this is another pseudo tactic. They come on acting like they're just asking questions, but they they don't understand that their questions are loaded questions and it's transparent. He came here like he was asking questions, but in reality, he had an agenda. He said he didn't want to debate, but he wanted a debate because the concept, see, and this is what I'm talking about. This isn't even high school science. This is grade school science. It's grade. The concept of an inanimate object and an animate object, that's literally grade school. I think I learned that in fourth grade or something like that. I was 8 years old. Like, and he's coming up as a grown ass man trying to tell us that water can think. Really, bros? Or that inanimate objects have consciousness? Because that's really what consciousness is, the ability to think. How do
Yep.
you think without a brain? How do you think without some type of neural network? And then let me go back. Let me take that back because I know how these pseudos they like to harp on one word. You don't have to have a brain, but you have to have a neural network in whatever
Yep.
form that takes. In mammals, that takes the form of a brain. You know what I mean? Like they say, like
Hmm.
octopus. I think octopus or something just got like a neural network and their tentacles can think and all of that stuff.
Hmm.
So you don't technically require a brain, but you need some type of neural network to 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 you need some type of neural network, the nerves, so they can fire because that's what's happening in our brains. Neurons are literally exploding. Boom, 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 boom. You put our brains in an MRI machine, you just see it's like lightning strikes all over the place. That's our brains, that's our neurons literally firing. Without that, you don't get the ability to think. Without that, you don't have consciousness.
Yep.
And this is a proven fact. This isn't something to debate. This is basic science. It's basic. It's fourth grade. It's foundational. We struggling with that because we want to hold on to philosophy so much. We want to hold on to 2,000, 3,000 year old concepts that were born out of ignorance. But we think that stuff is better than what we have now. These people didn't even know what electricity was.
Nope.
But y'all wanna, they couldn't help you with nothing in your house. The smartest one from back then. They would think the shit was magic. But y'all want to go back to that mode of thinking.
Oh man.
It's really man, it's this oh man. Honestly, we need to start studying the psychology of this shit because that's the only way we really gonna break it down, because that's what we really dealing with. We dealing
Yep.
with, we dealing with, I don't want to call it mental illness, but we are dealing with I don't know what to call it. It's something in the brain that ain't working right. And as a culture, we have this. And it's frustrating because you struggling with fourth grade science, my man. Go get a Joe. Don't come on these panels, man. Just go get grade school textbooks, bro. When the schools is upgrading new books and they throwing them away, go grab some of them Johns, man. Straight up. Straight up. You'll get further that way than what you're doing now and the people that you're getting information from now. You'll do better doing that. Straight up.
Facts. Grant, I'm a wait just a second. I'm gonna round up now because we be back at 7 o'clock with the Chimpas. Guller's doing his presentation. We be back at 7. So I'm rounding off this show. Ron, you got the floor. Close us out. Give us your
Yeah,
last closing statement.
yeah, just real quick, I appreciate again you allowing me up on your platform. Again, it's a good show. I think Praxis maybe was just not quite understanding that if he's going to make those type of statements, he's got to come with some type of scientific verb or something. And I think I understand in a way, maybe kind of what he's saying, but I think he's misunderstanding the whole thing. That that his his understanding of consciousness was really just him. I mean, water tastes wet because of him, not because of the
Yeah,
water. I
yeah,
mean, air feels warm when you breathe it, and on a warm day because of him, not because of the air. Even though the air is warm, but he has a sensation of warmth. And
yep.
so the quality of once you get to that, I think it'll be more enlightening to everybody, Cedric. So that's why I said I'm looking forward to your next few
Uh,
presentations, and I think it'll be
all right.
some better
Thank you.
discussion.
Grant, explain to us the mind behind the madness we've just witnessed.
Oh, it's an extraordinary solipsism. I think it just one has to craft a myth-laden story and sort of place yourself into it. Correct, but I think one of the tricks that was laid out here is that he was asking questions, and we can agree that I think Ron initially took the most sympathetic approach, which is, hey, I hear you. I think I'm understanding where you're coming from. And here's a at least a definition of what you're sort of where your mind is at, correct? So in essence, in this process of Praxis asking questions and then saying that, well, I want to learn, and Ron shows up, correct, and says, hey, I'm hearing you and I'm giving you as much space to sort of to ask these questions, and I think I'm going to provide you with some perspective. Even when the least hostile individual on the platform, correct, attempts to even help frame where he's going, Praxis still said, "Well, I'm just still here just asking questions," and he's merely rejected it. So in essence, it just shows you a baseline that he's not interested in actually getting answers to those questions. He's seeking to get to a position that he hasn't quite revealed, as if this is a magic show. And so I just think we have to keep these things in perspective, that we can, at some point, we have to admit that even the most accommodating person, when attempting to answer these questions, is rejected. It isn't as if a more tough and a more precise rejection of his claims are going to be accepted. So unfortunately, Praxis, I think you need to do a better job. You may want to reformulate some of your questions, but those questions won't be working on this platform anytime soon.
Man, I thank you. I thank you. Look here behind me. You see what's going on? Come back in the next 20 minutes. 20 minutes for the Gombe Chimp Wars with Gullah. Gullah's doing his presentation. I want to thank everyone for coming out. Grant for being here. Preem for your support. Always appreciate the God Killer in the building. Shout out to Sarnetta, all the pseudo killers and the pseudo killers armies in the chat. See y'all in a little bit. Let me take y'all out of here with this one, man.
Oh, yeah. I'm a pseudo killer nigga, and I'm coming for your head. So scammers accountable for the pseudo shit that they spread. Ain't no more running, nigga, I'm pseudos to bed. I'm the boogeyman for these prayers, leaving these streets red. I'm a pseudo killer, pseudo killer, pseudo killer, pseudo killer. No frauds, no fake, no fillers. We straight pseudo killers, no flim slammer, hustlers and scammers. We pseudo killers, pseudo killers, pseudo killers, pseudo killer. I'm tired of this talking niggas steady running their mouth. Beating just on platforms, always loud and wildin' out. They ain't saying nothing, only begging for some clout. When I step in the rain, nigga, mama say knock you out. I'm a pseudo killer, pseudo killer, pseudo killer, pseudo killer. No fraud, no fake, no killers. We straight pseudo killers, no flip flammer, hustlers and scammers. We pseudo killers, pseudo killers, pseudo killers, pseudo killers. If they you won't smoke, nigga, come and take your shot. It been a long time coming, nigga. Now show us what you got. I ain't tryna be friendly, nigga. Wipe ass off your face. This is war, nigga. Only one way to sin. Say goodbye to net. I'm a pseudo killer, pseudo killer. No cross, no fake, no fillers. We straight pseudo killer. No flip, flammer, hustlers and scammers. We pseudo killers.
All right, folks. Let me say what time it is. Y'all know what time it is.
Black African power. What's good? What's happening? A well-organized lie. A well-organized
pseudo killer army hunting pseudo. Cause you gotta train your mind to fight against them pseudo judo. People with the scholarships salute, we give them kudos. But the people with that look of shit, we look and see straight through those like telescope. If you ain't speaking fast, we gotta tell them folks and let them know the truth of. You bringing malinformation to blast, then you the Ku Klux. Like say, don't talk me to death, bro, what the proof of? Good juju chillin', why you wanna go way bad juju up? Shalom boy got the tank in the cut. I'm in Sosa world plotting on the kick though with Kent. Come and Tiffany gave me the pseudo names on the list and said went and got the low. Anthony got him in the scope, Gullah and Gozy make sure DNA ain't a problem for them folks. Cause a pseudo gon' die, they saw a pseudo killer, pseudo killer. I'm a pseudo killer, intellectual sunsling, ayy. I'm a pseudo killer, intellectual sunsling.